Hey everyone. My name is Emma, and you are listening to Revenge Diaries with Emma. Today we dive into a story that starts with love, ends with fire, and somewhere in the middle, well, let's just say your cousin probably shouldn't be texting your boyfriend at 2 a.m. You know how they say betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from someone you trusted with your whole heart? It's not just a cliche, it's biology. Your brain literally registers emotional betrayal like physical pain. And when that betrayal is served with a side of family drama? Oh honey, that's a Michelin-starred trauma platter. Back in the early 2000s, people cheated with Polaroids and payphones. Now, it's all encrypted DMs, location sharing turned off, and work trips that never show up on company calendars. Technology didn't invent infidelity, but it sure made it sleeker, quieter, and way more cowardly. And here's your reality check. If you think you'd spot a cheater the moment they stray, you probably won't survive this. Because the best liars don't look away when they speak, they hold your gaze a little too long, just to prove how honest they are. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your location and local time. I love knowing who's out there listening under streetlights or kitchen fluorescents, headphones on, heart wide open. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into today's journey together. You trudge through your Tuesday like any other, coffee lukewarm, emails piling up, the kind of day that feels like it's already halfway over before you've even brushed your teeth. But this Tuesday is different. Not because of anything obvious. No sirens. No shattered glass. Just a quiet shift in the air, like the moment before a storm you can't quite see yet. Your boyfriend, let's call him Daniel, has been off. Not in a dramatic, slamming doors kind of way. More like a slow leak in a tire you didn't know was flat until you're swerving on the highway. He still kisses you goodbye, still texts goodnight with a heart emoji, still folds your laundry when you're too tired. But his eyes? They don't land on you the same way. They skim, like you're a page he's already read. You tell yourself it's stress. His startup's fundraising round is collapsing. Your cousin Maya's been crashing at your place since her breakup. Life's messy. You chalk it up to chaos. But then there's the hoodie that it's a Tuesday night. You're folding laundry in the living room while Daniel works late in the home office. Maya's out with friends, or so she says. You pull a gray hoodie from the basket, one you've never seen before. Soft, expensive fabric. Smells faintly of sandalwood and something floral, Maya's perfume. You frown. Daniel doesn't wear hoodies. Hates them. Calls them sweat sacks for millennials. You hold it up. A single long, dark hair clings to the cuff. Maya's hair, your stomach dips, just slightly. Like an elevator dropping one floor too fast. You shake it off. Maybe she borrowed it during a movie night. Maybe Daniel wore it as a joke. You tuck it into the hamper, but your fingers linger a second too long. Later, you catch him on the couch, scrolling through his phone with that new tension in his jaw, the one that's been growing like ivy over the last 6 weeks. He locks the screen when you walk in. Not guiltily. Casually. Too casually. Hey, you say, voice light. What's got you so glued to that thing? He smiles, warm, practiced. Just work stuff. You know how it is. You do know. Or you think you do. That night, you lie awake while he breathes steadily beside you, and you replay every moment of the last 2 months. The canceled date nights. The sudden gym sessions after work. The way Maya stopped teasing him about his terrible cooking and started bringing him coffee, by accident, when she knew you were out. You tell yourself you're being paranoid. Family and love don't mix with betrayal. That's TV stuff. Real life is messy, yes, But not that kind of messy. But then, on Thursday, you see it that you're grabbing a glass of water at 1 a.m., barefoot and half asleep, when you hear hushed voices from the patio. You pause in the hallway. Daniel's voice, low and urgent. Maya's laugh, light, flirty, the kind she used to reserve for guys she was trying to impress at bars. You don't move. Don't breathe. Can't keep doing this, Daniel says. I know, Maya replies, softer now. But I can't stop thinking about you. A beat of silence. Then the unmistakable sound of a kiss. Slow. Intimate. Final, your knees lock. Your throat closes. But your face? Your face does something unexpected. That it smiles, not a broken smile. Not a tearful grimace. A real, calm, almost serene smile, as if you've just remembered a happy memory. Because in that moment, something flips inside you. Not rage. Not despair. Clarity. They think you're asleep. They think you're oblivious. They think you're the kind of woman who cries and begs and clings. Oh, they have no idea who they're dealing with. You retreat silently, slip back into bed, and stare at the ceiling until dawn. No tears. No panic. Just a quiet, humming resolve, because if they want to play this game, you're going to win it, and you're going to smile the whole time. You wake up the next morning with the kind of calm that unnerves even yourself. It's not numbness, it's focus. Like a surgeon before an operation, you move through your routine with precision. Shower, coffee, hair pulled back in a neat ponytail. Daniel's already at the kitchen table, scrolling through his phone again, but this time you don't ask what he's looking at. You pour your coffee, hum a little tune, and kiss him on the forehead like nothing happened. He blinks up at you, surprised. You're in a good mood. Aren't I always, you say, voice light, eyes steady. He chuckles, but it's uneasy. You notice it, the slight hitch in his breath, the way his thumb hovers over his screen before locking it. He's waiting for the storm. But you're not going to give him one. Not yet. Maya stumbles in 10 minutes later, wrapped in one of your oversized cardigans, hair tousled, yawning like she hasn't just kissed your boyfriend under the moonlight. She gives you a sleepy smile. Morning, M. Morning, May, you reply, sliding a plate of toast toward her. You were out late. Yeah, just hung out with Jess and Liam, she says, avoiding your eyes as she grabs the jam. You know how it is, lost track of time. You nod. Must have been fun. She glances at Daniel. He's watching you now, too carefully. You take a slow sip of coffee, letting the silence stretch just long enough to make them both uncomfortable, but not enough to seem intentional. That's the art of it, isn't it? Making your awareness invisible. Letting them believe they're still hidden while you map every crack in their performance. At work, you're distracted, but not in the way they'd expect. You don't spiral. You strategize. You replay their voices, their body language, the timing. How long has this been going on? Weeks? Months? Did it start before Maya moved in, or was that the plan all along? You remember her sudden breakup with her boyfriend, Mark. The way she'd cried on your shoulder, saying he just didn't understand her. You'd opened your home without question. Offered your couch, your wine, your emotional support. And all the while, she was eyeing the man in your bed. The betrayal tastes metallic, like blood on your tongue. But you swallow it down. That evening, you suggest a movie night. Just the three of you. Like old times, you say brightly. Daniel hesitates. Maya forces a laugh. Sure. What are we watching? You pick a rom-com, something fluffy, harmless. But as the credits roll, you notice everything. How Maya's knee brushes Daniel's under the coffee table, how he doesn't pull away, how they both flinch when you shift on the couch, you stretch, yawn, and say, "You two seem close lately." It's not an accusation. It's an observation. Delivered with a smile. Maya's fork clatters against her plate. What? No. We're just comfortable. Of course, you say. Family, right? Daniel clears his throat. Yeah. Exactly. You let it hang there. Over the next few days, you become a ghost in your own home, present but untouchable. You listen more than you speak. Watch more than you react. You notice how Daniel's phone is always face down now. How Maya lingers in the bathroom longer when he's home. How they've started using code words, groceries, for late night meetups, dentist appointment, for lunch dates. You almost laugh. They think they're being clever. One afternoon, while Daniel's in the shower, you pick up his phone from the nightstand. You don't need his password. You've watched him type it 1,000 times. 4 swipes, a tap, and you're in. His messages with Maya are a masterclass in cowardice. Maya, miss you already. Daniel, me too. Last night was perfect. Maya, she suspects nothing, right? Daniel, not a clue. She's too trusting. Your fingers don't shake. Your breath doesn't catch. You screenshot everything. Every "I love you," every "can't wait to see you," every lie wrapped in emoji hearts. Then you put the phone back exactly as you found it. That night, you cook his favorite meal: garlic butter shrimp, roasted asparagus, a crisp white wine. He's visibly relieved. You've been different, he says over dinner. Have I? You ask, twirling pasta on your fork. I just realized how much I've been taking you for granted. He softens. You haven't. No, you say, meeting his eyes. But I want to do better. He reaches for your hand. You let him take it. Inside, you're already planning your exit. Not physically, not yet. But emotionally? You've already left. You begin documenting everything. Dates. Times. Receipts. Photos. You create a hidden folder on your laptop labeled recipes. Inside, screenshots, voice memos, even a short video of them whispering on the patio, captured through the kitchen window. You don't do it out of spite. You do it for leverage. For proof. For the day you decide to burn it all down, and then, one rainy Thursday, Maya corners you in the laundry room. You've been acting weird, she says, arms crossed. Have I? You reply, folding a towel with crisp precision. Yeah. Like, watching us. You look up, eyebrows raised. Us? She flushes. You know what I mean. You step closer, voice low but calm. Maya, if there's something you need to tell me, just say it. She falters. There's nothing. I don't like how you've been looking at me. You smile. Maybe I'm just seeing you clearly for the first time. She storms out. That night, Daniel asks if everything's okay between you and Maya. Of course, you say, snuggling into him. Why wouldn't it be? He doesn't answer. But you feel his tension coil beneath your fingertips, that they're starting to doubt each other now. That's the first crack in their foundation, and you? You're just getting started. You've been patient. You've been quiet. You've played the doting girlfriend, the supportive cousin, the oblivious woman in the middle of their little secret tango. But patience has a limit, and yours snaps on a Saturday morning when you find the earring. It's tiny. A silver stud shaped like a crescent moon, Maya's favorite. You'd bought her a pair for her birthday last year. She lost 1 week ago, she'd said, shrugging it off like it didn't matter. Now you find it nestled in the crease of the couch cushion in Daniel's home office. The room he insists is off limits. During deep work hours, your fingers close around it slowly, like you're handling evidence at a crime scene. Which, in a way, you don't confront them. Not yet. Instead, you slip the earring into your pocket and walk to the kitchen, where Maya's making pancakes. She beams when she sees you. Morning. Hungry? Starving, you say, leaning against the counter. You're such a good cook. Daniel's lucky to have you around. Her smile wavers. What do you mean? Oh, you say airily, stirring your coffee. He's been raving about your pancakes. Said they're better than mine. She laughs too loudly. He's just being nice. Maybe, you say, sipping your coffee. Or maybe he's just more honest when I'm not in the room. Silence. The spatula in her hand freezes mid-flip. You let the moment breathe. Then you add, by the way, did you ever find that earring you lost? The moon one? Her eyes dart to yours. No. Why? No reason, you say, pulling it from your pocket and placing it gently on the counter. Just found it this morning. Must have fallen off when you were helping Daniel with something. Her face drains of color. You leave her there, standing over a pan of burning pancakes, and head upstairs. That afternoon, you tell Daniel you're going shopping. You drive to a quiet cafe instead, order a matcha latte, and open your laptop. You've been collecting digital breadcrumbs for weeks. Now it's time to follow them to the source. You log into his cloud account. You know his password. It's your anniversary date, something he'd never change because it means something. You scroll through his photo backups, and there it is. A photo, timestamped 3 weeks ago. Maya, wrapped in his gray hoodie, the one you found in the laundry, standing in front of his car, laughing. Her hair's wet, like she just got out of the shower. The background is his office parking lot. 7:15 a.m. You remember that morning. You'd texted him at 7:30, asking if he wanted coffee before his meeting. He'd replied, already at the office. Rain check, but he hadn't been alone. You download the photo. Then you dig deeper. His calendar has fake entries. Client lunch, Maya's Cafe. You've never heard of Maya's Cafe. A quick search reveals it doesn't exist. But there is a boutique hotel 10 minutes from his office with a cafe named Maya's Corner. Coincidence? Please, you check his credit card statements, another thing you have access to, since you share a joint account for household expenses. There's a charge from that hotel 2 weeks ago. $287. Room service, parking, late checkout. Your stomach doesn't twist. Your hands don't tremble. You feel something colder, sharper, certainty. That night, you come home with shopping bags full of nothing, just receipts and air. Daniel's on the couch, watching a game. Maya's in her room, door closed. You sit beside him, lean into his shoulder. Missed you today. He stiffens slightly. Yeah? You seemed distant at breakfast. Just tired, you say. But I had a thought. Oh. What if we took a weekend trip? Just us. No phones, no work, no distractions. He hesitates. That sounds nice. But I've got that big presentation next week. Right, you say softly. Work. You let the word hang. Then you kiss his cheek and head to bed, but you don't sleep at 1:17 a.m. You hear the soft click of Maya's door. Then footsteps. Then the murmur of voices from the patio again. You slip out of bed, silent as shadow, and press your ear to the hallway wall. I can't keep lying to her, Maya whispers. She doesn't suspect anything, Daniel replies, but his voice lacks conviction. She gave me back the earring, Daniel. A pause. What? She found it. In your office. And she just handed it to me like it was nothing. She's playing a game. Or she's waiting. You step back before they notice, back in bed, you stare at the ceiling and realize, they're scared. Not of getting caught, but of you. Of what you might do, and that's when you decide it's time to stop gathering evidence that it's time to use it. The next morning, you wake early and bake banana bread, Maya's favorite. You slice it thick, drizzle it with honey, and leave it on the counter with a note, from my favorite cousin. Love you. Then you send Daniel a text, thinking of you. Hope your day is as amazing as you are. They both eat the bread. They both read the texts, and they both wonder, is she really this sweet? Or is this a trap? You smile into your coffee, let them wonder. You've spent weeks watching them, documenting them, letting their guilt fester like a slow-acting poison. Now, it's time to stir the pot, not with accusations, not with tears, but with something far more disarming, kindness, because nothing unnerves a cheater more than being treated like a hero. You start small. You bring Daniel his favorite cold brew from the artisanal coffee shop downtown, just because. You hug Maya extra tight when she comes home from work and whisper, "You've seemed stressed. I'm here for you." You even offer to drive her to her dentist appointment next Tuesday, knowing full well it's a lie. She panics. "Oh. No, it's fine, I'll Uber." "You sure?" you ask, all innocence. "I don't mind." "I'm sure," she says quickly, avoiding your eyes. Perfect. At a tea dinner that night, you pour Daniel a glass of red wine, his favorite vintage, and say, "You've been working so hard. I'm proud of you." He stares at you like you've grown a second head. "Really?" "Of course," you say, smiling. "You're my rock." He looks away, guilt flickering across his face like a faulty bulb. This is your new weapon. Sincerity so genuine it feels like a threat. You double down. You start leaving little notes in his briefcase. "You've got this. And don't forget how loved you are." You accidentally leave your phone unlocked near Maya, knowing she'll scroll through your photos, only to find nothing but pictures of sunsets, coffee cups, and the two of you laughing at a picnic last spring. No suspicion. No anger. Just love. It drives them mad. One evening, you catch Maya pacing in the hallway, phone pressed to her ear. She's acting too nice, she hisses. It's like she knows, but she's not saying anything. Daniel's voice is muffled, but you catch the gist. Maybe she doesn't know. Maybe you're paranoid. Then why did she give me back the earring like it was a gift? You step out of your room then, humming, and Maya nearly drops her phone. "Hey. Didn't see you there. Everything okay?" you ask, tilting your head with concern. "Yeah. Just talking to Mark." Mark, the ex-boyfriend she broke up with to move in with you. The one she claimed didn't understand her. You nod slowly. "Oh. How is he?" "Fine," she says too fast. "We're just catching up." "Nice," you say, patting her shoulder. "Family should stick together." You walk away, leaving her standing there, sweating under your warmth. The next day, you do something bold. You invite both of them to a fancy dinner at Le Claire, a place Daniel's been wanting to try for months. You book it under your name, dress in your best black dress, and arrive early to surprise them when they walk in together, late, flustered, clearly having argued on the way. You rise with a radiant smile. You made it. I was so worried traffic would ruin everything. Daniel forces a laugh. "Yeah, sorry. Maya couldn't find her shoes." "Worth the wait," you say, squeezing his hand. The waiter brings champagne. You toast, to us. To family. To love. They clink glasses with you, but their eyes dart to each other like trapped animals. Throughout dinner, you're the perfect hostess, asking Daniel about his presentation, complimenting Maya's new haircut, even sharing a funny story about the time you all got lost on that camping trip years ago. But then, halfway through dessert, you lean forward and say softly, "You know, I've been thinking a lot about trust lately." Their forks freeze. It's such a fragile thing, you continue, swirling your wine. One tiny crack, and the whole thing can shatter. But if you're careful, if you nurture it, it can last forever. You look at Daniel. Then at Maya. Then back at Daniel, neither speaks, you smile. "Anyway, this creme brulee is divine. Try it." They do. But they don't taste it. That night, you overhear them arguing in hushed tones. "She's gaslighting us," Maya whispers. "No, she's just loving," Daniel says. But he sounds unsure. "Nobody's that loving after what we've done." Maybe she doesn't know. Then why does it feel like she's watching us drown and handing us life jackets made of glass? You close your eyes and let their fear settle into your bones like a warm blanket, because that's exactly what you're doing. That you're not screaming. You're not crying. You're smiling, and every smile is a question they can't answer. A week later, you forget to lock your laptop. You leave it open on the couch with a document titled Wedding Ideas visible on the screen. Inside, a mock-up guest list. A seating chart. A note, "Daniel plus Nina, forever." Maya sees it. You know she does, because the next morning, she's pale, jumpy, and cancels her dentist appointment. Daniel starts sleeping on the couch. You don't ask why. You just bring him a blanket and say, "You deserve rest, my love." He doesn't sleep at all, and you? You sleep like a queen, because the game has shifted. They're no longer the hunters. They're the hunted, and you're not even chasing them. You're just smiling. The smiling act is working, better than you ever imagined. But smiles alone won't dismantle what they've built in the shadows. You need proof, yes, but more than that, you need a timeline. A map of their betrayal, stitched together with receipts, texts, and lies. Because when the time comes to strike, you won't just say you cheated. You'll say you cheated on March 14th at 2:37 p.m. in room 309 of the Willow Creek Hotel while I was buying your favorite cookies to surprise you. You start with the phone. Daniel's always been careless with passwords, but lately he's changed his lock screen to a fingerprint. Still, you know his habits. He showers every night at 9:15 p.m. sharp. Leaves his phone on the nightstand. You've timed it, 7 minutes. Give or take. Point 1 Tuesday, you wait until the shower runs, then slip into the bedroom. His phone is warm from his pocket. You press his thumb, still damp from the towel hanging on the door, against the sensor. It unlocks. You work fast. You scroll through his call logs. Nothing suspicious, just work calls and your own. But then you check his browser history. Deleted, mostly. But not all. A cached page from a jewelry site, personalized heart necklace, engrave your love. You click. The card is empty now, but the saved item? A silver pendant with M+D etched in delicate script. Maya's initial. Daniel's. Your stomach doesn't lurch. Your breath doesn't hitch. You screenshot it, clear the cache, and place the phone back exactly as you found it. Screen facing up, charger coil to the left. Then you go downstairs and bake chocolate chip cookies. The next morning, you accidentally bump into Maya in the kitchen. "Oh, I was just thinking, I saw the sweetest necklace online yesterday. Silver heart, with initials. Thought about getting one for us, like matching cousin jewelry." Maya freezes, spoon halfway to her coffee. "Oh. Yeah. Cute. You don't like it?" you ask, tilting your head. "No, I do. Just, not really my style." "Huh," you say. Daniel seemed to think it was romantic. Her eyes snapped to yours. What? You know, you say lightly, he mentioned it last week. Said he saw one and thought of me. You watch her face crumple, just for a second, before she masks it with a laugh. Oh. That's sweet of him. But her hands are shaking. Now you dig into finances. You log into your shared banking portal under the guise of checking the electric bill. While you're there, you download 6 months of statements. You comb through them like a forensic accountant. There it is, March 12th, $185. Willow Creek Hotel, March 18, $92. Bella Luna Restaurant, private dining room, April 3rd, $210. Spa Serenity, couples massage. You've never been to any of these places with him, but you remember March 18th. You'd texted him at 7 p.m. How's work? He'd replied, crazy night. Ordering takeout at the office, yet here's a receipt for a candle at dinner for two. You cross-reference the dates with Maya's social media. On March 18th, she posted a blurry selfie with the caption, New Beginnings. Dizzy, hair freshly dyed, wearing a dress you'd never seen before. You screenshot it. Add it to your folder, then you check his work calendar. He's been logging off-site client meetings every other Thursday. You call his office, by accident, pretending to be a vendor. The receptionist confirms, no off-site meeting scheduled for Daniel this month. Another lie. Another brick in the wall you're building around them. One evening, you find an old photo album while cleaning. You bring it to the living room, flip it open, and point to a picture of you, Daniel, and Maya at your graduation. Look how young we were, you sigh. Remember that day? You both promised you'd never let anything come between us. Daniel swallows hard. Maya stares at her lap. You trace the photo with your finger. Funny how promises fade, isn't it? Neither answers. You close the album gently. But I still believe in ours. They exchange a look, terrified, confused, drowning in guilt. That weekend, you do something risky. You tell Daniel you're visiting your aunt for the day. Instead, you park down the street from his office and wait. At 12:45 p.m., he leaves, not with a briefcase, but with a bouquet of white lilies. You follow him. He drives to the Willow Creek Hotel. Checks in under David Miller, his middle name, your last name. Classic. You snap photos from your car, him walking in, the room number he's assigned, 309. Same as before, the time stamp. Then you drive home, change into fresh clothes, and text him. Auntie says hi. Miss you already. He replies instantly, miss you too, babe. You almost laugh. Back at the house, you add the new evidence to your folder. You label it clearly, Phase 1, the truth, because now you know the full scope. It started 6 weeks before Maya moved in. She'd been texting him for months, flirty comments under your Instagram posts, accidental DMs, late night calls disguised as family check-ins. The night she broke up with Mark, she'd already been in Daniel's bed. They didn't just betray you, they planned it, and that changes everything, because now, your revenge isn't just about pain, it's about justice. You sit at your desk, staring at the folder. Every screenshot, every receipt, every timestamp. It's not just proof that it's ammunition, and soon, you'll load the gun, but for now, you bake another loaf of banana bread and smile. The evidence is stacked. The timeline is clear. But betrayal this deep doesn't just fracture a relationship, it shatters a family. And you've been delaying the inevitable, confronting Maya. Not in whispers. Not in hints. Face to face, with nothing between you but the truth, you choose a Sunday afternoon. Daniel's at a team-building retreat. Another lie. You checked, his office sent no such notice. Maya's lounging on the back porch, scrolling through her phone, probably texting him. You pour 2 glasses of iced tea, lemon, her favorite, and carry them outside. Beautiful day, you say, sitting beside her, she startles, quickly locking her screen. Yeah. Perfect. You hand her a glass. I've been thinking, we haven't really talked, just us, in forever. She forces a smile. We talk all the time. Do we, you ask softly. Or do we just perform? Her fingers tighten around the glass, you let the silence stretch, warm and heavy like the afternoon sun. Then you say, I know about you and Daniel. Her breath catches. But she doesn't deny it. Doesn't gasp. Just stares at you, eyes wide with something between fear and relief. How long, you ask, she swallows. Since February. Before she moved in. Before the fake breakup. Before she cried on your shoulder about Mark, you nod slowly. And the necklace? The hotel? The lies? Tears well in her eyes, but you don't soften. Not yet, Nina, I never meant to hurt you, she whispers, then why? The question hangs like smoke, she looks away. He made me feel seen. You were so wrapped up in your job, your life, and I was just there. But he listened. He remembered my favorite song, my coffee order, the way I take my eggs. You almost laugh. So you stole my boyfriend because he knew how you like your eggs? It wasn't just that, she snaps, then softens. It was everything. And once it started, I couldn't stop. You study her, the cousin you shared secrets with, who braided your hair before prom, who held your hand at your grandmother's funeral. The girl who used to say, blood is thicker than water. Now she's chosen a man over you. Do you love him? You ask, she hesitates. I think. I love the idea of him. Of us. And what about me? Her voice cracks. I love you. I always will. Then why didn't you come to me? She has no answer. You stand, take her glass, and walk inside. That night, you call your mother. Hey, sweetie, she answers, cheerful. How's Maya? Is she still staying with you? You take a breath. Mom. Maya's been sleeping with Daniel. Silence. Then, what? You tell her everything, the timeline, the proof, the lies. She's quiet for a long time. Finally, she says, I'll call her. But you know it won't help. The next day, the family group chat explodes. Your aunt, Maya's mom, texts, Nina, is this true? Your sister? No way. Maya wouldn't, your uncle. This better be a misunderstanding. You forward them the screenshots. The receipts. The photo from the hotel parking lot. The replies stop. Then Maya calls. Why did you tell them? She sobs. Because you made it true, you say calmly. I didn't create this. I just revealed it. You ruined everything. No, you say. You did. She hangs up. By evening, your phone buzzes non-stop. Cousins, aunts, family friends. Some defend her. Some side with you. Most are just shocked. Your mother calls again. She's devastated. Says she'll move out. Good, you say. She's your blood, Nina. And he was my future, you reply. But you don't see anyone defending me, do you? She doesn't answer. That's when you realize. Betrayal doesn't just isolate you from the cheaters. It isolates you from everyone who'd rather believe in a lie than face an ugly truth. Maya packs her things that night. She leaves a note on the kitchen counter. I'm sorry. I'll never forgive myself. You read it. Then you tear it into confetti and flush it down the toilet. Daniel comes home the next day, oblivious. Where's Maya? Gone, you say, stirring soup on the stove. What do you mean, gone? She moved out. Family drama. He frowns. Did something happen? You turn, spoon in hand, and look him dead in the eye. Ask her. He pales. You don't explain. Don't accuse. Just let the weight of your gaze do the work. Later, you overhear him calling Maya, voice frantic. She knows, doesn't she? A pause. Then, how much does she know? You smile into your tea, let them scramble, because the family fracture is now complete, and in the rubble, you're the only one standing. With Maya gone, the house feels quieter, but not peaceful. It's the silence of a battlefield after the first explosion, tense, waiting, charged with the promise of more to come. Daniel moves through the rooms like a ghost, jumping at every creak, flinching when you speak too softly. He doesn't ask where Maya went. Doesn't ask why she left in the middle of the night with 2 suitcases and red-rimmed eyes. He just watches you, constantly, carefully, as if you might detonate at any moment, but you don't. You double down on your strategy. Kindness laced with precision, warmth edged with warning. You start leaving little gifts on his desk. A new pen, a stress ball shaped like a globe, a note that reads, "You carry so much. Let me help." He keeps them. Doesn't throw them away. Doesn't thank you. Just stares at them like they're ticking. You cook his favorite meals. Set the table with candles. Play jazz in the background, the kind he used to say calmed his soul. He eats in silence, fork clinking against porcelain, eyes darting to your face every few seconds, searching for the trap. There isn't one. Not yet. Instead, you weaponize normalcy. One evening, you sit beside him on the couch and rest your head on his shoulder. Remember our first date? That tiny Italian place with the flickering candles? He stiffens. Yeah. You spilled wine on your shirt. Tried to blame the waiter. You laugh softly. I thought it was adorable. He doesn't laugh. Nina, are we okay? Of course we are, you say, squeezing his hand. Why wouldn't we be? He doesn't answer. The next day, you accidentally leave your journal open on the coffee table. On the page, a poem titled "The Man I Love." It's full of tender lines, your hands that build and hold, your voice that steadies storms. But one stanza stands out, even when shadows stretch long. I choose to see only your light. You know he reads it. You find the journal later, slightly crumpled at the edges. That night, he tries to kiss you, you let him, but you don't kiss back. You just stand there, lips pressed together, eyes open, watching him pull away in confusion. Was that not okay? He asks. It's fine, you say gently. I just wanted to be sure you were really here. He looks haunted. Meanwhile, you begin your quiet campaign of social recalibration. You invite mutual friends over for dinner, just you and them. No Daniel. When they ask where he is, you sigh and say, work's been brutal. He's barely sleeping. They nod sympathetically. He seems off lately. Oh, you say, stirring your wine. I hadn't noticed. But you've planted the seed. Ata group brunch the following weekend. You casually mention, Maya's been distant since she moved out. I hope she's okay. Your friend Lena frowns. Yeah, she's been weird. Cancelled on me twice. Said she's dealing with stuff. You nod sadly. Family is complicated. Later, when someone jokes about Daniel's sudden gym obsession, you smile and say, he's always been dedicated. It's one of the things I admire most. But everyone hears what you're not saying. He's hiding something. You never badmouth them. Never drop hints. You just reflect. Let their own behavior echo back at them through your unwavering grace. Daniel starts checking his phone less around you. Stops using code words. Even deletes his dating apps. Yes, you found those too. buried under a folder named Work Tools. He's trying to come back, but you're not interested in his return, that you're interested in his unraveling. One rainy Thursday, you find him sitting at the kitchen table, head in his hands. Rough day? You ask, pouring coffee. That he looks up, eyes bloodshot. Nina, do you ever feel like you're losing yourself? You sit across from him. All the time. But then I remember who I am, and who I choose to be. He stares at you like you're speaking another language. You're a good man, Daniel, you say softly. Don't let anyone, including yourself, make you forget that. He breaks then. Just a little. A single tear rolls down his cheek. You don't wipe it away. You let him drown in the kindness he doesn't deserve, because the most devastating revenge isn't screaming that it's smiling while they realize they've lost something they can never get back. And you're already gone. While Daniel drowns in guilt and Maya hides in self-imposed exile, you shift your focus to something far more concrete: money. Because love may be intangible, but assets? Those you can control. And if there's one thing cheaters never expect, it's that their victim knows how to read a balance sheet, that you've shared a joint account for household expenses since you moved in together: rent, utilities, groceries. It was a sign of trust. Now, it's a vulnerability you intend to seal. You start by opening a new personal account at a different bank, one Daniel doesn't know about. You redirect your direct deposit, set up automatic transfers for your savings, and move your emergency fund. All done online, in under 20 minutes, while sipping chamomile tea like you're ordering takeout. Then you audit the joint account that you've been meticulous about tracking every transaction, but now you go deeper. You check for hidden transfers, recurring payments to unknown services, even microcharges that might signal secret subscriptions. Nothing major, just the usual: Netflix, Spotify, the gym. But then you spotted that a monthly $49.99 charge to Cloud Vault Pro. You've never heard of it. You log into Daniel's email, still using your anniversary as his password. Some habits die hard, and search for the receipt that it's a secure cloud storage service. Encrypted. Password protected. You try his usual passwords. None work, but you remember something. His first pet's name was Max, and his childhood street was Elm. You combine them, Max Elm 2025, and the vault opens. Inside? A folder labeled Personal. You click Photos. Dozens of them. Maya in his bed. Maya in the hotel robe. Maya laughing, wrapped in that gray hoodie. Videos, too, short clips of them kissing, whispering, tangled in sheets. Your stomach doesn't turn. Your hands don't shake. You download everything, then you delete the folder, not from his device, from the cloud. Permanently. No backup. No recovery. Let him wonder where they went. Next, you review your lease. You're both on it, but the security deposit and first month's rent came entirely from your savings. You email your landlord, a kind older woman who adores you, and ask if you can assume full tenancy. She agrees. Daniel's name can be removed with a simple addendum. You draft it that night. You also check your shared credit card. You're the primary holder. He's an authorized user. With one call, you can revoke his access. But you don't, not yet. Instead, you lower the credit limit to $500. Just enough for gas and lunch. Not enough for hotel rooms or secret gifts that he notices the next day when his card declines at the premium coffee shop. Huh, he says, frowning at his phone. Must be a glitch. You glance up from your book. Want me to check the account? No, it's fine, he mutters, switching to his personal card. You smile. Okay, love. You also begin quietly selling off shared items you bought with your own money, his gifts that were really just returns of your generosity. The designer watch you got him for his promotion? Listed online. The vintage record player you found at a flea market and restored together? Gone. You keep the receipts, the photos, the proof that these were yours to begin with. When he asks where the record player went, you say, needed the space. Don't worry, you barely used it. He doesn't argue. Meanwhile, you start documenting everything for legal protection. You print screenshots, timestamp receipts, even record a voice memo describing the timeline of financial decisions. Not because you plan to sue, but because you refuse to be left holding the bag for a life you didn't betray. One evening, you sit him down with a glass of wine. I've been thinking about our future, you say. His eyes widen. Yeah? I think it's time we separate our finances completely. Just to be responsible. He hesitates. Are you breaking up with me? No, you say, touching his arm. I'm protecting us. If something ever happened to either of us, I'd hate for money to be a burden. He nods slowly, relieved. That's actually really smart. You hand him a printed list of accounts, passwords, and next steps. I've already started the process. Just need your signature on a few things. He signs without reading. That of course he does, because he still thinks you're the trusting girl who believed every word he said. That he has no idea you've already reclaimed everything that was yours, and soon, you'll take back the one thing he values most, his reputation. But for now, you transfer the last of your savings into your new account, and sleep soundly. Money was just the foundation. Now, you turn your attention to the real battlefield, their social world. Because what good is revenge if no one sees it unfold? But you won't drag them through mud with accusations or public rants. No, your weapon is far more elegant, social erosion. You begin by reactivating your own presence. You accept invitations you declined for months, gallery openings, rooftop dinners, trivia nights with old college friends. You show up radiant, engaged, laughing just a little too brightly. People notice. They always do. At a wine tasting with mutual friends, someone asks, "How's Daniel?" You tilt your head, smile softly. He's going through something. Work stress, I think. Oh. Lena says, leaning in. Because Maya's been MIA too. And they were acting so weird at that party last month. You sigh, just enough to suggest concern. Family stuff. You know how it is. You say no more. But the implication hangs, something's wrong. And it involves both of them. Within days, the whispers start. You don't fuel them. You just exist. Post photos of yourself hiking, reading in cafes, dancing at a friend's birthday, always solo, always glowing. Your captions are vague but evocative. Clarity comes in stillness, or some chapters close so better ones can begin. Daniel sees them. You know he does. His likes disappear from your posts, replaced by late-night views when he thinks you won't notice. Meanwhile, you subtly recalibrate your interactions with their shared friends. When Mark, Maya's ex, texts you out of the blue, "Hey, heard things got messy." You okay? You reply warmly, "I'm healing. But honestly, I'm more worried about her. She seems so lost lately." He doesn't respond immediately. But 2 days later, he posts a cryptic quote on Instagram, "Beware the wolf who wears the skin of family." You don't comment. You just like I teed at a TA group dinner. You sit next to Daniel's best friend, Jason. Over dessert, you say casually, "Daniel mentioned you guys were thinking of investing in that new co-working space?" Jason frowns. "We were. But he backed out last minute. Said he needed to reassess his priorities." You nod slowly. "He's been so distracted lately. I hope he's okay." Jason studies you. "You too, good?" "We're working on it," you say, eyes downcast. But sometimes love isn't enough if trust is broken. You don't specify whose trust, whose love, but Jason gets it up by the end of the week. Daniel's inner circle has shrunk. Jason stops inviting him to poker night. Lena forgets to include him in group plans. Even his gym buddies seem distant that he notices. One night, he snaps. Why is everyone acting weird around me? You look up from your book, genuinely surprised. Are they? Maybe they're just busy. It's like they're avoiding me. You sigh. Honey, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's everything that's been going on. What's that supposed to mean? You meet his eyes. You tell me. He storms out. Perfect. Now, the isolation is self-inflicted. You also leverage family dynamics. Your mother calls, voice tight, Maya's a mess. She says you're turning everyone against her. You're quiet for a beat. I haven't said a word, Mom. I just live my truth. If people are drawing conclusions, maybe it's because the truth is loud. She doesn't argue. Ata cousin's baby shower. You arrive early, help set up, and chat warmly with everyone, even Maya's younger sister, who avoids your gaze. But you don't push. You just hand her a cupcake and say, "You've always been my favorite cousin." She tears up. Later, she texts you, "I'm so sorry, Nina." "I had no idea," you reply, "Neither did I. But I'm glad I know now." The family fracture deepens, but you're no longer at the center of it. You're above it. Daniel tries to reassert himself socially. He posts gym selfies, checks into restaurants, even tags you in a throwback photo with the caption, "My forever." You don't like it. Don't comment, but you do screenshot it and send it to Maya with one word, "Really?" She blocks you. Good, let them turn on each other, because the final stage of social sabotage isn't exile, it's mutual suspicion, and you've just handed them the match. Daniel's birthday is in 2 weeks. For years, you've thrown him elaborate parties, rooftop soirees, surprise trips, custom cakes shaped like his favorite guitar. This year, you tell him you're planning something intimate but special. He's visibly relieved. After weeks of tension, he assumes this is your olive branch. Your return to normalcy. Oh, it's special, all right. You start by inviting all the right people, his closest friends, your mutual colleagues, even a few of Maya's friends, people who've heard the rumors but haven't taken sides. You book a private room at Leclerc, the same restaurant where you once toasted to love while they drowned in guilt. Poetic, isn't it? You design the invitations yourself. Elegant black cardstock with gold foil. At the bottom, in delicate script, "Dressed to celebrate the man we all admire." Daniel sees the invite on your desk. "This looks amazing," he says, voice thick with emotion. "I wanted it to be perfect," you reply, brushing his arm. You deserve to feel loved. He hugs you tightly. You don't hug back. Not really. Just enough to seem sincere. In the days leading up to the party, you accidentally leave your planner open on the kitchen counter. On the page for his birthday, 7 p.m., cake cutting. 7:30, toasts. 8 o'clock, surprise. He asks about the surprise. "You'll see," you say, eyes sparkling. "It's something you've always wanted." He spends the next week speculating. Maybe it's a watch? A trip? A promise of reconciliation? The truth, the surprise is exposure. You've spent days preparing. You've edited a slideshow, dozens of photos of Daniel over the years, laughing, working, holding you. But woven between them, almost invisible at first glance, are subtle insertions. A screenshot of his text to Maya, "She's too trusting." A blurred receipt from the hotel. A cropped image of the crescent moon earring on his office couch, nothing explicit. Just enough to make those who know. And then there's the toast. You rehearse it in the mirror, warm, nostalgic. Devastating, the night arrives. You wear a deep red dress, the color of wine, of warning, of finality. Your hair is sleek, your makeup flawless. You arrive early to oversee setup. The room is perfect, soft lighting, jazz playing, a long table with place cards. Daniel walks in at 7:05 p.m., beaming. He's brought Maya. Of course he has. She looks nervous, dressed in black, eyes darting around like she expects an ambush. Maybe she does. You greet them both with open arms. So glad you could make it, you say to Maya, holding her gaze just a beat too long. She forces a smile. Wouldn't miss it. Guests arrive. Champagne flows. Laughter fills the room. For a moment, it almost feels real. At 7:30, you tap your glass. Everyone. Thank you for being here to celebrate Daniel, a man who's meant so much to so many of us. Applause. Daniel grins, chest puffed. You continue, voice soft but clear. We've shared so much, adventures, dreams, quiet mornings. And through it all, I've learned something important. Love isn't just about passion. It's about honesty. About showing up, even when no one's watching. A pause. You look at Daniel. Then at Maya, because when you betray someone's trust, it doesn't just break their heart. It fractures everything around you. Family. Friendship. Your own sense of self. Silence. The room holds its breath. You smile. But tonight isn't about that. Tonight is about celebration. So let's raise a glass to Daniel. May he always choose the light. You lift your glass. Everyone follows, confused but compliant. Then you cue the slideshow. It starts normally. Childhood photos, college days. But as it progresses, the hidden messages appear. A text bubble flashes for half a second. A receipt glides behind a photo of him laughing. The earring glints in the corner of a group shot. Only those who've heard rumors will catch it. But that's enough. Maya stands abruptly. I need air. She rushes out. Daniel stares at the screen, face draining of color. He turns to you, eyes wide with panic. You just smile. Happy birthday, my love. He doesn't speak for the rest of the night. Guests leave early, murmuring. Jason claps you on the shoulder on his way out. You handled that like a queen. You thank him. Back at home, Daniel confronts you. What was that? What was what? You ask, removing your earrings. The slideshow. The toast. You humiliated me. I honored you, you say calmly. Everything I said was true. He grabs your arm. You knew. All this time, you knew. You don't flinch. And yet, I still threw you a party. Isn't that love? He releases you, shaking his head. You're terrifying. No, you say, meeting his eyes. I'm awake. He sleeps on the couch again, but this time, you don't bring him a blanket, because the trap isn't set anymore. It's sprung. The birthday party doesn't just fracture Daniel's social standing, it cracks Maya's psyche wide open. You see it first in the little things. Her Instagram goes dark. She stops answering calls from mutual friends. Her mother tells your aunt, in a hushed voice over Sunday brunch, that Maya hasn't left her room in 3 days. Guilt is a slow poison. And yours was the antidote she never got. You don't reach out. Not directly. But you do send a care package to her apartment, delivered anonymously, of course. Inside, her favorite lavender tea, a scented candle, a journal with a note that reads, "Some truths are heavy. But you don't have to carry them alone." She texts you that night, trembling fingers evident in the typos. Maya. Was this you, Maya? Why would you be kind to me after what I did? You don't reply, let her sit with that question. Let it gnaw at her like a splinter she can't remove. A week later, she shows up at your door at 2 a.m., rain-soaked and hollow-eyed. "I can't sleep," she whispers. "Every time I close my eyes, I see your face. The way you looked at me at the party, like you knew everything and still smiled." You let her in. Not out of forgiveness, but because you want to witness the collapse. She sits on your couch, shivering, and says, "He's blaming me. Says I ruined everything. But it was both of us. Why is he acting like I dragged him into this?" You pour her tea. Because cowards always need someone to hold the blame. She stares into her cup. I thought we were in love." "Love doesn't steal," you say gently. "It protects." She starts to cry, ugly, gasping sobs that shake her whole frame. "I miss you, Nina. I miss us." You don't touch her. Don't comfort her. Just say, "Then maybe you should have chosen me." She leaves before dawn, quieter than she came, but the unraveling has only begun. Her job performance slips. She misses deadlines. Snaps at coworkers. Her boss calls your mother, concerned. Maya's not herself. "Is everything okay at home?" Your mother doesn't know what to say. Meanwhile, Daniel tries to rebuild. He texts you daily, apologies, promises, please. You read them. Don't reply, but you do forward one to Maya. "Daniel, if Nina hadn't thrown that damn party, none of this would have blown up." Maya responds instantly, "You're blaming her?" After what we did, their private chat explodes. Accusations, defensiveness, the ugly truth spilling out in real time. You don't need to read it all. You just need to know they're turning on each other, and then, the final blow. Maya's best friend, Jess, calls you. She's talking about leaving town. Says she can't face anyone here. Where would she go, you ask? Her dad's cabin upstate. She's been packing for days. You thank Jess. That night, you drive past Maya's apartment. Her windows are dark. Boxes line the hallway. 2 days later, she's gone. No goodbye. No explanation. Just an empty apartment and a forwarding address scribbled on a sticky note left for the landlord. Daniel finds out when he tries to call her and gets a disconnected tone that he shows up at your door that evening, desperate. Where is she? I don't know, you say truthfully. You must. You two were close. We're being the key word, you reply, arms crossed. Maybe if you hadn't chosen her over me, you'd still know where she is. He slumps against the doorframe. I lost everything. No, you say softly. You lost her. I was never yours to keep. He leaves, shoulders hunched, looking 10 years older. You close the door, and for the first time in months, you feel the weight lift. Not because they're gone, but because their chaos no longer lives inside you. Maya's collapse wasn't your goal, but it was inevitable, because betrayal doesn't just hurt the betrayed. It consumes the betrayers from the inside out, and you're already free. With Maya gone and Daniel reeling, you turn your attention to the final pillar of his life, his career. Because what's a cheater without his reputation, his income, his carefully constructed identity as the good guy? Just a man, exposed, ordinary, and utterly powerless. You don't sabotage him outright. That would be messy, traceable, beneath you. Instead, you become a whisper in the right ear at the right time. Daniel works at a mid-sized tech firm, Nexacore, where he's been angling for a VP promotion for over a year. His reputation is everything: reliable, ethical, a team player. You've heard him brag about his integrity at dinner parties, watched him shake hands with investors like he was born in a suit. Now, you dismantle that image, one anonymous truth at a time. You start by compiling a dossier, screenshots of his hotel receipts, the jewelry purchase, even a blurred but recognizable photo of him and Maya leaving the Willow Creek Hotel. Nothing illegal. Just compromising. Then you craft a single, concise email. Subject: concerning behavior. Daniel Reeves. Dear HR Compliance Team, I'm writing as a concerned third party regarding Daniel Reeves, Product Lead, Team Alpha. Over the past several months, Mr. Reeves has repeatedly used company time and resources for personal affairs, including off-site meetings that appear to be romantic in nature. Attached are receipts and photographic evidence suggesting misuse of expense accounts and potential violations of the company's code of conduct regarding professional boundaries. That I have no personal stake in this matter, only a belief that Nexacore deserves leaders of true integrity. Sincerely, a watchful observer. You send it from a burner email, routed through a public library's Wi-Fi. 3 days later, Daniel comes home pale and silent. What's wrong? You ask, stirring soup on the stove. Nothing. He mutters. Just work stuff. But you know, the next week, his big presentation is postponed. His name is removed from the VP shortlist. HR calls him in for a routine compliance review. He doesn't tell you details. But you overhear his hushed call with his boss. I swear, it's not what it looks like. Yes, I can explain the charges. You almost feel bad, almost, then you remember the earring. The texts. The way he looked at you while lying, every single day. No, let him sweat, his behavior shifts. He stops dressing sharply. Shows up to video calls in hoodies. Misses stand-ups. His colleagues start excluding him from key projects. He's been distracted, they say. You hear it all through the grapevine. Lena mentions it at brunch. Daniel's totally imploded at work. Rumor is HR's investigating him for expense fraud. You sigh. That's awful. He's under so much pressure lately. Lena leans in. Between you and me, people are saying it's about a woman. You lower your voice. I wouldn't know. But if it's true, it's sad. He had such a bright future. The narrative spreads. Daniel Reeves, once golden boy, now cautionary tale. Meanwhile, you quietly update your LinkedIn. You highlight your own achievements, your leadership roles, your recent certification. You don't mention Daniel. Don't need to. Your professional reputation soars just as his crumbles. One evening, he snaps. Is this you? He demands, waving his phone. Did you send something to HR? You look up, genuinely surprised. Why would I do that? Because you knew about the hotel. The receipts. I knew you were stressed, you say calmly. I assumed it was work-related. He stares at you, searching for the lie. Finds none, because you never said you didn't send it. You just made him doubt his own certainty. A week later, Nexacore announces leadership changes. Daniel's name isn't on the list. Worse, he's been moved to a special projects role with no team, no budget, and no path forward. Corporate purgatory. He comes home and sits in the dark for hours. You don't comfort him, but you do leave a single sheet of paper on the kitchen counter the next morning, a printout of the company's ethics policy, with one line highlighted in yellow. Trust, once broken, is rarely restored. He sees it, and for the first time, he doesn't look at you with anger, with shame. Good, let him sit with it, because his career wasn't just his livelihood. IT was his armor, and you've just stripped it away. The unraveling is complete. Daniel's career is in shambles, his social circle has evaporated, and Maya has vanished like smoke. He's alone, not just physically, but existentially. The man who once held your future in his hands now can't even hold his own gaze in the mirror. And then, one rain-slicked evening, he breaks that you're reading on the couch when he walks in, soaked, eyes red-rimmed, shoulders slumped like he's carrying the weight of every lie he's ever told. He doesn't speak. Just stands in the doorway, dripping onto the hardwood, staring at you like you're the only anchor in a storm he created. Then he drops to his knees. I'm sorry, He whispers, voice raw. Nina, I'm so sorry. You don't move. Don't flinch. Just watch him crumble. He crawls forward, hands trembling. I never meant to hurt you. It was a mistake, a stupid, selfish mistake. I was weak. I was lost. But I love you. I've always loved you. You set your book down slowly. Do you? Yes. Please, give me another chance. I'll do anything. Move away. Cut her off forever. Go to therapy. Just, don't leave me. You study him, the man who kissed your cousin in your own home, who lied while you cooked his dinner, who called you too trusting, like it was a flaw and not a gift. Daniel, you say softly, do you even know why you're sorry? He blinks. Because I hurt you. No, you say. You're sorry because you got caught. Because your life is falling apart. Because Maya left and your boss doesn't trust you and your friends won't answer your calls. You're not sorry for what you did to me. You're sorry for what it cost you. He opens his mouth to argue, but stops. Because he knows it's true, you stand, walk to the window, and watch the rain streak down the glass. You had everything. My love. My trust. My home. And you traded it for a few months of cheap excitement with someone who didn't even love you back. She did, no, you cut in. She loved the idea of stealing you. Of winning. But she left the moment it got hard. That's not love. That's ego. He bows his head. Silent, you turn back to him. I forgave you a long time ago, Daniel. His eyes snap up, hopeful, but forgiveness doesn't mean I stay, you continue. It just means I'm free. He sags, the last thread of hope snapping. You walk to the closet and pull out a box you've been preparing for weeks. Inside, his passport, his favorite watch, the one you bought him, a printed list of his personal accounts, and a single key, the one to this apartment. Take your things, you say gently. Not tonight. But soon. I'll give you a week. He doesn't argue. Doesn't beg. Just nods, tears falling freely now. Can I ask why you were so kind? He rasps. After everything? You smile, a real one, quiet and sad. Because I refused to become what you made me. A victim. A shrew. A broken woman. I chose to be better. Even when you weren't. He stands, shaky, and walks to the door. Pauses. Will I ever see you again? Not like this, you say. But maybe, someday, we'll pass on the street and nod. And that'll be enough. He leaves, you lock the door behind him, and for the first time in over a year, you breathe, deep, full, unburdened. The confession wasn't about him, that it was about you, about closing the door on the version of yourself who believed love meant staying. Now, you're ready to walk through a new one. The week passes in a quiet hum of finality. Daniel moves through the apartment like a ghost, packing his clothes, boxing his books, avoiding your eyes. You don't help. Don't hinder. You simply exist in the same space, two planets orbiting each other one last time before drifting into separate galaxies. On the fifth day, he leaves a note on the kitchen counter. I'm staying with Jason until I find a place. Thank you for your kindness. I don't deserve it. You read it. Tuck it into your journal. Not as a keepsake, but as proof that even the worst chapters end. The moment his last box disappears down the hallway, you close the door and lean against it, breathing deeply. The silence isn't empty anymore. It's yours. You start by reclaiming the space. You repaint the bedroom, soft sage green, the color of renewal. You donate his shoes, his cologne, the framed photo of the two of you at the beach that used to sit on the nightstand. You don't burn them. Don't smash them. Just release them, like letting go of a balloon. Then you reclaim your time. You sign up for a pottery class you've wanted to try for years. You start running in the mornings, not to punish your body, but to celebrate its strength. You read novels that have nothing to do with love or loss, mysteries, biographies, even a book on astrophysics just because it looked interesting. You also reconnect with yourself and with the people who never wavered. Your sister takes you to lunch. "I'm proud of you," she says, squeezing your hand. "You didn't let them break you." "I almost did," you admit. "But I remembered who I was." Your best friend throws you a fresh start dinner, just the two of you, candles, and a bottle of Prosecco. "No more men for a while," she teases. "No more liars," you correct gently. There's a difference. You also reach out to your mother. "I'm okay, Mom," you say over tea. "Better than okay." "I'm free." She cries. "I should have protected you." "You did," you say. "By loving me enough to let me find my own way." Work becomes a sanctuary. You throw yourself into a new project, leading a team initiative that earns you a promotion. Your boss calls you resilient. You smile. You've earned that word point. One evening, you walk past the old coffee shop where you and Daniel used to meet for weekend lattes. You don't go in. You just stand outside for a moment, watching couples laugh over shared pastries, and realize you don't envy them. You pity them. If they don't know their love is fragile, built on sand. True love, you now understand, isn't grand gestures or whispered promises. It's consistency. It's showing up, even when no one's watching, and you've learned to show up for yourself. You also delete the folder, Phase 1, the truth. You don't need it anymore. The evidence served its purpose. Now, it's just digital clutter. You highlight the folder, press delete, and empty the trash without hesitation. Let the past stay buried. That a month after Daniel leaves, you receive a letter. Not an email. Not a text. A real, handwritten letter on thick cream paper. That it's from Maya. "Nina, I'm writing from the cabin. It's quiet here. Too quiet sometimes. I've spent weeks trying to understand how I became the kind of person who does what I did. I don't have answers yet. But I'm trying. That I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know I see it now, the depth of what I stole, not just from you, but from myself. That I hope you're happy. You deserve every good thing, Maya." You read it twice. Then tuck it into your journal beside Daniel's note, not as reconciliation. As closure. That night, you light a candle, pour a glass of wine, and sit on your balcony under a sky full of stars. That you're not angry. Not sad, just whole, because freedom isn't the absence of pain. That it's the presence of peace, and you've finally found it. The seasons turn. Autumn bleeds into winter, and the city wraps itself in frost and quiet. You've settled into a rhythm that feels less like survival and more like living, real, unguarded, unapologetic living. Your apartment, once a stage for deception, is now a sanctuary of soft light, fresh plants, and the gentle clink of your morning coffee mug against the counter. You don't think about Daniel much anymore. When his name surfaces, in a song, a passing mention from a friend, you feel nothing but a distant echo, like a dream you can't quite recall. Maya's letter sits in your journal, not as a wound, but as a bookmark. Here is where the story changed. You've started saying yes to things that scare you. A solo weekend in the mountains. A public speaking workshop. A first date with someone who asks thoughtful questions and doesn't flinch when you say, "I'm not looking for anything serious, just honesty." It's not about replacing what was lost. It's about discovering what was always there, beneath the roles of girlfriend, cousin, victim. One snowy evening, you walk through the park near your apartment, boots crunching on fresh powder. You pass a couple arguing under a street lamp, their voices sharp, their postures closed. You don't stop. But you do remember, the way your own heart used to race at every silence, every missed text, every too long glance at someone else. That you're not that woman anymore. You've learned that betrayal doesn't define you. How you rise after it does, and you rose. Not with fire, not with vengeance in its rawest form, but with grace so steady it became its own kind of power. You didn't destroy them. You simply refused to let their choices define your worth. And in doing so, you dismantled everything they thought they knew about you, and about themselves. Your revenge wasn't a single act. It was 1,000 quiet choices, to smile when they expected tears, to document when they assumed you were blind, to walk away when they thought you'd beg, and now you walk forward. You've even started volunteering at a women's shelter on weekends, not as a savior, but as someone who understands the slow erosion of self that comes with loving the wrong person. You listen more than you speak. Sometimes, that's enough. One afternoon, a young woman with bruised knuckles and tired eyes asks, "How did you get out?" You don't tell her about the earring, the hotel receipts, the birthday party. You just say, "I remembered I was worth more than the story they were writing for me." She nods. Hold your gaze a second longer. That's when you know, your pain has become purpose. Back home, you curl up on the couch with a novel and a blanket your grandmother crocheted years ago. The fan hums softly in the corner, just like you asked your listeners to turn on, all those episodes ago, and you smile, just a real, quiet, contented smile, because you made it, not unscathed, but unbroken, and that's more than enough. The story of betrayal began in silence. The quiet lies, the hidden glances, the slow erosion of trust masked by routine and affection. But it ended not with a scream, not with a courtroom, not even with a final confrontation, but with something far more powerful: peace. Nina didn't win by destroying Daniel or Maya. She won by refusing to let their choices shrink her. She turned pain into precision, grief into strategy, and ultimately, survival into sovereignty. Her revenge wasn't fire, it was frost, quiet, inevitable, and impossible to ignore once it settled. And in the end, that's the truest form of justice, not making them suffer, but proving you no longer need them to define your worth. So if you're listening to this and nursing your own quiet wound, whether it's betrayal by a lover, a friend, or even family, know this: your smile doesn't have to be a weapon. Sometimes, it's just the first sign that you're still here. That you're choosing yourself. And that, in itself, is revolutionary. Until next time, remember, everyone has their story, but only you get to write the ending. Now, I'd love to hear from you. If you've ever faced betrayal, what was the moment you realized you were going to be okay? Drop it in the comments. Your words might be the lifeline someone else needs tonight.